Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks so much for sticking with us. We have 15 minutes for our panel, and I just wanted to start by sharing an old adage: you cannot be what you cannot see. The good news is that here, I am alongside extraordinary women leaders that are visible, that are sharing their stories, and hopefully are an inspiration to many generations of girls, young women, women of all ages, to showcase exactly how you can change the world through technology, through the power sector, through infrastructure and construction and finance. There's no question these are all noble professions, and it's an absolute privilege to be alongside you today. I wanted to just start by saying, well, we're very aware you come from diverse industries. What sadly strings us all together is the low representation of women in them. And so, having had an opportunity to listen to one another, are there particular things that came out for you that give you hope about how we can inspire and encourage and nurture more women to engage? Is there anybody who'd like to kick off? Sandra, please.
Well, it was interesting to me. I always love these things because there's so much commonality and yet so much difference. So I enjoyed all of you speaking from different perspectives as far as your industry, but the messages, I think, are still very similar.
Absolutely, Sujin.
Yeah, I would like to mention that the Diane's talk, Believe in Yourself, we should have a strong belief in myself and don't try to catch up any other's view. Yeah, I would like to comment that.
Thank you. Diane, Kiran.
Yeah, I think it's a very strong common feature in all these stories. It's about the confidence. It's about, we talked about, Kiran talked about patience. I think it's take your own pace, find your own journey, and find your own desire, and just stick with it and go along with it.
Hi. So I think as everyone mentioned, so the fact remains we are underrepresented. We are less. So if we are less in numbers and we are underrepresented in the sector, so it is we only who have to take a lead. We need to decide. We need to be firm. All said by my friends, we need to believe in ourselves. We need to be confident. We need to think what we want. So I think, again, this is which remains common, that we have a goal, we have some facts, we have a goal, and it is doable. So I think that's the very purpose of this platform today. And let's go ahead, let's get going, let's achieve our dreams. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Inspiring words. Be bold, be patient, persevere. Don't think about what others say about you, but be confident in yourself. And I loved Sandra's anecdote. She was specifically told to pursue a particular degree, and she went in a different direction, in spite. And it is about being really confident and taking the path that is your path, the path of your choosing to follow your dreams. Sujin, I'd like to ask you, why do you want to encourage more women to join technology? And what has been the best part about working in your field?
As I mentioned in my earlier presentation, in high-tech industries such as semiconductors, there's no longer a debate about who's better suited, woman or man. So if you want to make a career in tech industry, just do it. And also, I'd like to comment about that the best thing about working in my field. I think that I can achieve a big vision beyond as an individual expert. And also, I can grow beyond that I was dreamed of. So when I started my career, I just want to be an expert. But now I grew up with an expert as well as a business leader like this. So yeah, that's what I want to say.
Terrific, thank you so much. Kiran, be interested in your reflections on this one. So in power sector.
So I think as I shared in my initial talks as well, so power sector, why I feel is power sector, we know we are largely entering into the renewables, right? So we are moving away from the conventional. And when we talk of renewables, especially the solar, so there is huge opportunity, right? We at Tata Power only, we have been going way ahead in solar, not only the installation. Very recently, we started our own solar cell manufacturing plant, right? So renewables become an added, I would say, an added lucrative area for women to come and join the energy or power sector. Because solar cell manufacturing is an example which I say. So we have hired 50% of the women on the shop floor for solar cell modules manufacturing. We have hired women, right? So this is a niche market. It is new. It actually is different from the conventional hardships or the production lines or the shop floors which in a conventional power sector which were required, right? So with the increasing renewables addition into the power sector, there is an added advantage, I feel, for the women. And that's why I feel there is a strong need in the market, in the sector, and there is a desire for the women to come, and it's a win-win. So I feel that it's the right time for the women to actually make use of those opportunities. Yeah.
Terrific, thank you so much. It's actually a really good segue for my next question, which is for Sandra. So we heard that construction infrastructure contribute a whopping 39% of greenhouse gases. What do you see as that industry's responsibility and opportunity to address climate change?
Well, I don't know if that was a surprise to you all, but it was certainly a surprise to me. So I'll break that down in a couple of things. 11% of that is what's called embodied carbon, which is basically once you put it in the ground, it's there. The other is 28% is building operations. The third part on that, though, is waste. I don't know if you know this, but 30% of all building materials is waste. And of that, 75% of that ends up in landfills. So this is such a huge topic. I actually think there's something going on in the United Nations right now or today about this same thing. But, you know, for me, we're seeing more and more, and that's why some of you guys' industries are so interesting. We're seeing more and more alternative things, whether that's green concrete, you know, that kind of thing. So this is one I could go on and on about, but if you at all are interested in climate change, this is one of the, it's actually the industry that's the singular one that causes the most of. So.
Thank you, thanks so much. And I also appreciate the reflection that sometimes it just takes maybe asking a question differently or asking a different person the question around electric vehicles and the impact on roads and bridges. We know that's going to have an impact. We need to be on the front foot around preparing our roads and bridges to sustain, hopefully, exponential increase in the use of electronic vehicles. We hope to see that into the future. So Diane, I'd like to turn over to you. So beyond what's on paper, beyond what we know in the law, what sort of arrangements can increase effective work-life balance for women with children without the potential of generating discontent for those that don't have family responsibilities? What are your thoughts?
This, I think, is probably more a challenge in Asia. As we all know, we traditionally, this is beyond what the government say, what the laws say, but traditionally, women are considered to stay at home and look after the children and the family. and particularly in the case of Asia, we are talking about 3-4 generations. So I think as a society, the first step is to recognize the value or the contribution of women participation. And secondly is to appreciate the value that man can bring to the family life, as I mentioned earlier. So, I mean, house husband is a totally unacceptable, almost unacceptable notion. But in fact, to have flexible hours and long-term paternity leave for male, and so that they can stay at home and look after the children, and allow them the joy to raise children, and that will help strengthen the relationships and family life as well. So this is just one of the many examples. I think the narrative we need to build, for example, through media and make it more socially acceptable.
Thank you so much. And I know we're getting towards the end of our time. I'd actually like to direct the last question to Sujin, which was the last question we'd planned on the panel today. Just think it's really apt. So what advice would you like to give to junior women who are on a similar path as you?
Like me, I think you guys have a better path than me. Yeah, I would like to say that please challenge for the dream that I want to achieve in the future, not what I can do now. Are you worried about how to survive in such a big tech company? As I mentioned in my presentation, if you work together to focus on your strengths and also recognize and collaborate with your colleagues' strength, every colleague supports you. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Really inspiring words. And I just want to add, this is such an important conversation. It is not unprecedented, but quite a unique opportunity to have extraordinary leaders from these diverse industries represented here today. We are so grateful to you for the cracks and the shattering of the ceilings that you have undertaken. Hopefully that is paving new pathways for many, many women to follow suit. And later, the next session is on changing the systems as opposed to the women within them. And that will give us many more ideas and much more food for thought around how we as individuals, leaders in organizations, can do everything we can to fix the system itself. Please join me in thanking our distinguished panelists, Sujin, Sandra, Kiran, and Diane. Thank you so much for your contributions.